reevaluate our budgets. So I wanted to do a book that utilized minimal ingredients, but also lower cost ingredients. Yet still homemade, still delicious, still nutritious, because the best way to save money, in my opinion, is to cook at home. I've said that all along. If you want to reduce your food budget, cook at home. Well, some people don't even know where to begin. And I have heard over the years many times of how people that never cooked before are now cooking, because I show you recipes that you can actually do, recipes that you can actually find the ingredients in your grocery store. So nothing in this book has exotic ingredients or things that you would have to go on the hunt for. Now, I love to go to all of the different strange grocery stores. I seek them out wherever I'm at. But I realize that not everybody does that, and not everybody wants to have, the variety of strange, I guess I should say, ingredients that maybe I like to have on hand. But first of all, this is the book. It's 100 brand new recipes. It's called Budget Meals. I have to say a great big thank you to my son, Austin, who actually designed the cover for this book. He designed the front and the back cover for this, and I'm very proud of him. He did a great job with minimal help from me. He just knew what I wanted, and we together worked it out. He did a great job. My other son, Aaron, is on the camera, and they both are just, working away, helping here at the ministry, and I'm very proud of them. That's not what this is about. This is about the food. So I wanted to show you some of the recipes. Now, I already have all of this cooked. I spent all day long cooking because I wanted to just present the final recipes to you. We will be doing upcoming programs with individual recipes and maybe some of these too. But I wanted you to see some of the delicious food that you can make in your home. There's nothing here, absolutely nothing, that is hard to do, that, is so complicated with so many steps that, even a beginning cook could not make. Let's just start right here at the beginning with the tomato basil soup. One of my favorites, right here we go. It's just absolutely yummy. It's on page, I've got my little sheet with all my recipes here. I'm gonna put this right here. It's on page 4 of the book. And it's tomato basil soup right here. Using canned tomatoes. Pretty much all of us have canned tomatoes. I used what I had, which was whole plum tomatoes. You could use any kind, you could use petite diced, you could use crushed, you could use whole, you could use your home canned. It doesn't matter, just get a tomato. I would not get the ones that are flavored like with garlic and that kind of thing. I would get the plain ones, but use what you have. If that's all you have, use it. We've got some onion, we have cream cheese, we have salt, pepper, milk, a little bit of oil. I used olive oil, but if you don't have olive oil, you could use just canola or vegetable oil. And just cook that together, minus the milk, because that would curdle. Once your tomatoes have broken down a little bit, stir in your milk. Your cream cheese will be all melted and in it. Then put it in a blender, puree it to the consistency that you like. I like it smooth. Put it in a bowl and serve it with lots of black pepper. I have here some fresh basil. Tear some up, put it in the soup, but I like to serve it with a little bit of the fresh basil on top so that you know what it is. I've got croutons in there, just purchased croutons. You could also serve this with grilled cheese sandwich for a delicious supper. This is so good. And it could not be easier to make. The recipe is on page 4 of the book. Then behind it here, we have a barbecue bean chili that's on page 1 of the book. Turn to it. Barbecue bean chili right there. Now, the key to making a chili that's low cost, because there's meat in there. I did use some ground beef, but I only used for the whole, and I actually cooked this in the crock pot. For the whole big crock pot to feed a lot of people, I only used 3/4 of a pound of ground beef. If you don't want to use ground beef, you could use ground chicken or ground turkey, or leave out the meat and make it vegetarian. Absolutely delicious. I browned that up, and then I added my other ingredients, such as a can of tomato sauce, a large can of just prepared baked beans that you buy in the grocery store. You could add an extra can of beans if you wanted to bump it up a little bit. Beans are a delicious and healthy and nutritious way to bulk up your foods, stretch them to make them go further. They're very inexpensive. Even a can of beans, you can find them now on sale for like 50 cents. Or you can use dry beans, soak them overnight, put them in the crock pot, let them go. I mean, it's so easy to do. And this is a barbecued beef bean chili that is incredibly good. I like to take a lime wedge and squeeze in my chili, anything of a Mexicanish Southwest flavor. I like to squeeze a little bit of lime on there, totally optional, but try it, you will love it. You could serve this with some sour cream, you could put some cheese on top if you wanted. However you like your chili, you could even serve this. Sometimes I just, I like my chili over spaghetti noodles, like a Cincinnati spaghetti. This is not Cincinnati spaghetti, but I still like to serve mine over some kind of pasta, which will stretch it even further if that's what you want to do. Absolutely delicious and could not be easier. Now, all of the recipes here are in this book, along with the white bean chili. We've got a vegetable and barley soup, a homemade vegetable soup. I'm a big soup lover. I love soup year round. We've got a Southwest corn and chicken soup, our wonderful tomato basil soup, ground beef, vegetable soup, lots of different things from my kitchen to yours. Now, all of these recipes are in this brand new book that is available for your gift to Living Faith Television of $30 or more. You are not buying this cookbook. You are supporting Christian television, and in return, we send you a copy of the book. You're supporting the gospel going out around the nation and many parts of the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I hear from people all over the United States. You name the state, and I've heard from them. We recently have launched out into some other markets with this program, and the response has been tremendous. And if you're watching from one of those other places that is not our home base of Virginia, which we go out into the 5 states here, welcome to our family. We do cookbooks often. They are only available here. They're not available anywhere else, and it is for your support of Christian television. So that's why we do these kinds of things. But let's move on to, oh my goodness, this one. Over here is the casserole. I just made it in a casserole dish, actually baked it this morning. This is a caramel apple breakfast casserole that, smells so good. Now, I don't peel my apples, but if you want to peel your apples, you can. It has eggs and milk and some cinnamon and some nutmeg. If you don't have those individual spices, use pumpkin pie spice or apple pie spice, whatever you have, those warm types of spices. I used 4 medium apples. I used Gala because that's what my store had on sale. You could use any kind of apple that you like, except for, you could use Red Delicious, but they don't cook as well as the others. I think they're great for eating out of hand, but they're not my preferred apple for cooking. But if that is what you have, then that is what you use. If you don't have any fresh apples and you have a can of apple pie filling, use that. You want the flavor of the apples. But I used 4 apples that I chopped up really fine, butter, some brown sugar, just some sliced bread, whatever kind of bread you have. Whole wheat bread is typically what we have at home, but you could use any kind of bread you have. If you have white bread, if you have a sweeter bread, that Hawaiian sweet bread would be delicious in this. And you make a casserole, pour the custard with the milk and the egg and all that over it, let it set at least 30 minutes or overnight, which is what I did, and then bake it in the oven. It's yummy, absolutely yummy and filling and nutritious. You're getting the fiber, the vitamins, the minerals. You've got some nuts in there. I used pecans, but you use what you have, what you like. If you don't like nuts or you're allergic, leave them out. This is a caramel apple breakfast casserole. Then one of our favorites. My home loves this dish. This is beef enchiladas. They are so good. Oh my goodness, I cannot express to you how much we all love this dinner. I always squeeze lime over mine. I like a little chopped lettuce on mine. My boys like sour cream on theirs. You do what you like. If you like salsa on it, put some salsa on it. This is, I will say, better than what you're gonna get in a restaurant. I have yet to taste enchiladas in any Mexican restaurant that I've ever been in that I like better than these. And I'm telling you, this is so easy. And this makes a great make-ahead meal. You just brown up some ground beef, add some spices. You could use taco seasoning mix. You could use chili powder. I like a little heat in mine, so I use a little bit of crushed red pepper flake. And it's just some oregano, because dried oregano goes in a lot of Mexican dishes. Some salt, some pepper, a little bit of enchilada sauce, either homemade or purchased. Brown that up, let that simmer for a minute, lay out your tortillas. I use low carb ones. Put some cheese, roll it up, put it in a pan, pour the rest of your enchilada sauce, top it with cheese, and bake it. It is so incredibly good. This is the first recipe I want you to try out of this book. It's just so good. I love it. And it is on page 31. We have, now if I had to pick one recipe, and I've said this before, one thing that I had to eat every day for the rest of my life, it would be stuffed cabbage. That is my favorite food. I love it beyond. Oh, I just love stuffed cabbage. But it takes some time to cook. It takes time to, get the cabbage leaves ready to go and make the mixture and then simmer it. I simplified that and made an unstuffed cabbage roll recipe. Tastes the same a third of the time, and it's so good and so inexpensive. Cabbage, not very expensive at all. Sauerkraut, tomatoes, ground beef, rice, some salt, some pepper. Love it, absolutely love it. I can make this recipe and I will eat the whole pot of it myself over a couple of days. I love stuffed cabbage. So unstuffed cabbage, which is much easier, is on page 30. We've got crock pot roast. We've got garlic herb pork tenderloin. Pork seems to be the cheapest meat available right now. Tenderloins are so good and so easy. I think they're right about $2.99 a pound now. We've got an apple and pork chop skillet dinner, which, fall time of the year is a great thing to have in your arsenal of recipes. I'm telling you, there are things in here that are so easy to cook. Hot dogs with beans. You know those little cans of beanie weenies? Okay, confession time. I love the little chili weenie flavor of that. That's loaded with some stuff I don't really know what is. I love it, but my homemade version is a little healthier for you and not expensive at all, and oh, so good, so, so good. We've got our French toast baked there. We've got over in the crock pot, which is right here. I'll just bring it over here. We've got our delicious pulled pork. I bought a pork butt at the grocery store. I have no idea why they call it that, because it's on the shoulder from the pig. I don't know why they call it a pork butt, but it is actually the shoulder. I put it in my crock pot with some spices and some barbecue sauce to let it go all day long, literally about 12 hours or so on low. Then I took out the meat. I did discard the juices because I added a fresh batch because that had watered down so much. not watered down, but the juices. Shredded it up, it shredded like a dream. Put it back in the crock pot with my favorite barbecue sauce, let it go another couple of hours on low, and you have a meal fit for a king. I would top this with some coleslaw. My taste, if you want extra barbecue sauce, whatever you like. It's yummy and delicious to go alongside that. You could serve this just the pulled pork. You don't have to put it as a sandwich. This is a corn fritter cornbread. I've already had a bite. Let me just tell you, it is so good. It's on page 36. It's corn fritter bread. I love corn fritters, but they're kind of messy. You know, you fry, you make up your batter, and you fry the little nuggets in oil. You don't have to do that with this one. You mix it all together, put it in a baking pan. There's my baking pan. I do like to line my pan, my casserole dish, with a little parchment paper just so it's easier to get out. But you don't have to do that, but make sure you spray it. Bake it in the oven. Let it, oh, it's so good. And it goes along great with that pulled pork. You can serve that with just some cut up fruit. There you go. Maybe some, you know, carrots, steamed carrots or fries or whatever you want. Whatever you want. I personally would serve this with this chili alongside it because that flavor combination to me is so good. And the corn fritter bread is just so delicious. So those are some of the main dish meals. Let's see, what else do we have? We've got our soup, our beans. Okay, let's move on to dessert. I mean, you know, life is short. Eat dessert. Not every day, but sometimes let's have some dessert. My favorite cake in the world is pound cake. I love pound cake so much. I'm not one that likes all that sweet frosting on cake. I know some people do, and that's okay. Some people, that's their favorite part. For me, I just prefer pound cake, or unfrosted cake, actually. Pound cake can be time-consuming, can be a little pricey because you use so much butter in pound cake. So we've come up with a little bit of a quicker, it's super quick pound cake. Uses a box cake mix. I mean, duh, it's so easy. And if you can find pound cake mix, which I can in my store, that's what I used. But if you can't find it, just use a yellow cake mix would be fine. Add some other things, some sour cream, some flour, some eggs, a little bit of butter, and lots of other things. I like to bake mine in a bundt pan, but you don't have to. You can bake it in a loaf pan. Whatever you like will work for about an hour, hour and 15 minutes, and you have a yummy, 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 yummy pound cake that I would totally eat with this cup of coffee, which I will be doing in just a little bit, because I love pound cake with my coffee. And then here we have a cake that is my favorite pie. My favorite pie is pumpkin pie. Oh, I just love pumpkin pie. I can remember when I was a little girl, my grandmother on my mom's side made the best pumpkin pie. I can remember going to her home and just loving that pumpkin pie. Sadly, I don't have her recipe. I have no idea how she made it. She died many years ago, and to my knowledge, did not leave any of her recipes, which is another note. Make sure you write down your recipes for your kids. It just, I'm telling, or anyone really, because people will want those. I have my mom's, I have my grandmother's on my dad's side. I have my own, in my own handwriting for my boys, because it just means the world. I'm telling you, start now making a collection. But this is easier than making, I mean, pumpkin pie, let's face this, pretty easy to make. But not everybody likes the pie part. So we made a pumpkin pie cake. So good. It has canned pumpkin. Now, when you go to the store, make sure they're side by side. You will find cans of pumpkin, whole pumpkin, or, you know, pureed pumpkin. And beside it, you will find cans of pumpkin pie filling. That is not what you want. You want the whole pumpkin, the pumpkin puree, the 100% pure pumpkin puree. I don't personally like the pumpkin pie filling. I like to add my own spices. I just prefer that. Even if I'm just making the traditional pumpkin pie, I never buy the other. I keep on hand, actually, cans of pumpkin, because pumpkin scones are delicious, pumpkin pie's delicious. I make a pumpkin bisque, all kinds of different things that can be made with pumpkin. But this is pumpkin pie cake. It uses a yellow cake mix. You know, they're not expensive. A lot of people will have those in their pantry. The stores run them on sale all the time. We've got, I added walnuts to this. If you don't want to put the walnuts in there, you don't have to. We've got the pumpkin, some eggs, some spices, a can of evaporated milk, which is a pantry staple item. It's a shelf stable item. It is milk that has had some of the water evaporated from it, so that's why it's called evaporated milk. My mother always used evaporated milk for mashed potatoes and for any kind of a gravy, cream gravy type thing. So I grew up cooking with evaporated milk. It's on the baking aisle where you will find the sugars and the sweetened condensed milk. It's usually right there with sweetened condensed milk. Great item to have on your shelf. It is a shelf stable item, and it's great to have on hand for cooking, for, you know, you can actually reconstitute it for milk. I think it's equal parts. Don't quote me on that one. I'd have to go back and double check. But if you need milk, you can add water back into it. But it makes a great, rich, creamy addition to many, many recipes, including this one. You just mix it all together. The liquid ingredients, then you actually put the cake mix dry on top, put the butter on top of that, bake it, makes this topping, and it's so delicious. You could serve it with whipped cream if that's what you like. I'm kind of a purist. I don't even like whipped cream on my pumpkin pie. I like it plain, but you do what you like. But there are just some of the recipes that are in this book, along with a biscuit coffee cake. We have chocolate chip muffins, coconut pie, caramelized bananas, easy apple dumplings, protein-packed cereal bars. We've got biscuits. We've got our corn fritter bread, applesauce muffins, monkey bread, a parsley herb bread. Here's some main dishes. We have potato beef bake, our beef enchiladas, a crock pot roast. We've got fiesta beans and rice, navy and pinto beans. I love beans of all kinds. Cajun red beans and rice. We've got cabbage with potatoes and sausage. We have hash brown ham and cheese casserole. Great thing to make on, it's good for breakfast, it's good for lunch, it's good for dinner, it's good for a snack. We've got our peanut butter waffles. We have lots of different breakfasts, a Southwest sausage muffin, chicken fajita casserole, skillet chicken. We've got a chicken Florentine casserole. Sounds kind of fancy, could not be easier. You use canned soup. You use frozen chopped spinach, which to me is one of the biggest bargains in the grocery store. Do you know how much spinach they use to make that little block of frozen spinach? Telling you, and frozen spinach is actually good. The canned spinach, no way, Jose, am I gonna eat. I do not like that in any way, shape, or form. But the frozen is very good. You could use leftover chicken for that. If you've got a rotisserie chicken, you could use the meat on that, leftover meat, or you could just use canned chicken that you might have on your cans or on your shelves, your home canned or bought. I have both. Keep it on hand all the time. Chicken riggies, which is an adaptation of my Aunt Nino. My mama's sister made chicken riggies when I was a little girl. Loved it, but I've kind of morphed hers up a little bit, added a few little ingredients to it, but that's an ode to my Aunt Nino. We've got chicken and biscuits pot pie. We, of course, have side dishes. We have all kinds, scalloped tomatoes, cream corn, turnips. I love turnips. All of these recipes, 100 brand new recipes for your gift to Living Faith Television of $30 or more, and we will get this book out to you as quickly as we can. Remember, Christmas is coming up. This would make a great Christmas gift, a great wedding gift for anyone or just to add it to your collection. Thank you for supporting Living Faith Television. Hi everyone, I have for you today a brand new cookbook, a budget meal cookbook, 100 brand new recipes from my kitchen to yours, using everyday staple items that we have in our kitchens or minimal ingredients that we need to get at the store, and all of them are low cost to prepare. I know that we're all watching our budgets today with the food prices increasing as they have been, so it's vitally important that we be able to cook our meals at as low a price as possible. So I wanted to give you 100 recipes that you can cook any day of the week, no matter your skill level at cooking in your home. I have for you here some of the different ones. We've got tomato basil soup, we've got a barbecue beef chili, we've got desserts, we've got all kinds of delicious things that you can cook any day of the week. Get your copy today. Hi everyone, I have for you today a brand new cookbook, a budget meal cookbook, 100 brand new recipes from my kitchen to yours, using everyday staple items that we have in our kitchens or minimal ingredients that we need to get at the store, and all of them are low cost to prepare. I know that we're all watching our budgets today with the food prices increasing as they have been, so it's vitally important that we be able to cook our meals at as low a price as possible. So I wanted to give you 100 recipes that you can cook any day of the week, no matter your skill level at cooking in your home. I have for you here some of the different ones. We've got tomato basil soup, we've got a barbecue beef chili, we've got desserts, we've got all kinds of delicious things that you can cook any day of the week. Get your copy today.
If you are at the